I'm always comparing myself with other people. This is an area you cannot be intentional about growth if you move on the area of comparison. And then finally, the 8th area is expectation. As we have said, in intentional growth, it is a lot of hard work. So you cannot expect it to be easy. But from the very beginning, as you start your journey and you make your decision, if you are clear, if you know, if you understand, and if you accept that it's going to be difficult, it may not be what I thought it can be. If you know this from the beginning, then it is easy to keep going. It is easy to keep changing. It is easy to keep transforming yourself. So the expectation that it's going to be tough, it's going to be a lot of hard work, it's going to call a lot from you. That expectation, you really have to work on it, because sometimes it will stop you. And this is what makes us start something and then we stop, because I didn't think it's going to be that hard. This is what you tell yourself. So those are the areas that one needs to look at when you are making a plan for growth, for transformation, to be different, to have different results, to have different outcomes. And the time now is ripe for us to really be transformed, because we're really going to have different results. It's a good opportunity in the environment, and all we need to do is now begin to work on ourselves and change ourselves. So those are the things that would normally stop us. As I leave this area, I just want to speak quickly on fear. Fear will always hold you down. Fear will always remove you from achieving your potential. The fear of the unknown will always hold you back. And sometimes it is a fear that you don't have resources. You will not have resources to be able to move through on the journey of growth or transformation. Or the fear will be, what will other people think about me? What if I change direction? What if I make a different decision on my life about how I want to live my life? What do people think? What do they say? So there's a fear of people, and that one you have to look at it. So, and then there's also the fear of when you are different, when you start changing, you're also pushing people away. So those are fears you have to confront. And fear, always, the medicine for fear is action. Because the minute you take action, then you have faith. The way to conquer fear is to have faith through action, and to action as soon as possible before the fear becomes, bigger than your intention to change. So fear is an area that will always stop a lot of us from moving forward. And you have to check which is the stronger emotion you want to have. Is it your desire for change, or is it your fears? And if your desire for change is big, and I have mentioned it before, your desire for change should be based on your potential. It should be based on how big your potential is. Your desire for change should be based on the clarity you have about potential. So if your desire for change is big, then you'll be able to overcome your fears. So if you find your fears are bigger than your desire, then it means you have not appreciated your potential. It means you haven't gone out of your way to check on what is my potential. So the area of fear is something that can stop you. And as we have said, overcoming fear is just do it. Do it now. Take a small step and start moving. Now, again, we are going deeper into the discussion. And as we move into the discussion, for you to change, for you to transform, for you to have different results, this is where you have to start. Who are you? You must know yourself to be able to grow, and you must know yourself to be able to change. This is a big area in the area of change, in the area of transformation. Just knowing who you are is important. You cannot start without knowing what you want to change. And this understanding of who you are will also answer for you so many questions as we go forward. As we go forward, I'll revisit this area in these discussions tonight. And as we move on, we'll talk about discovering yourself, knowing yourself, because within that discovery lies the answers to your life. Within that discovery lies the answers to what is your passion, what is your purpose, what direction should you be going, what should you be doing. Within the discovery of yourself, of who you are, therein lies the answers. So this is such a big foundation for change and for transformation, and we can never brush it off. And here's the thing that is clear. You will never know yourself 100%. So it's not for you to say, I've done that, I know, it's done and dusted, I'm sure I know who I am. That is not a realization that is realistic, because one will never know themselves 100%. All you can do is continue to discover yourself on a daily basis, on a regular basis. You are discovering who you are, and you know what direction you should be in life, and really what are your passion. And I don't want to touch on it now, but it is really very exciting, because the area of purpose, that big word that has been thrown around a lot, comes from this area of knowledge about yourself. So really, it's an area that one cannot, brush under the carpet, and one cannot, move on it in a very casual way. As we move on, I want to confirm one thing: Rome was not built in a day. So give yourself time. Give yourself time. So this is not something that it's something that you can just switch on and then you are there. So it will take some time, it will take some transition, it will take some adjustment, but it will take some action, and of course, some very immediate action. Now we are moving again deeper, and at this point, I want to introduce very important areas for change, growth, and transformation. We are going to look at what areas will give you the change, or will shift your life to bring fulfillment, to bring happiness, to bring passion, to bring purpose in your life. What are the areas? Because sometimes you're talking about growth. Somebody will say, what is growing? What do I need to grow? What do I need to do this? So I'm going to give you 5 areas that are so important in your planning, in your action, in your understanding. And remember, as you look at change, as you look at growth, as you look at moving forward, the most important thing first is to understand ideas before you apply them. Because if you don't understand something, then even when it comes to application, you find that application is not giving me the results I want. Why it's not giving me the results you want is because you have first not understood. So as we said from the beginning, when we're starting this discussion, understanding the idea is very important to the application, to the change, to the transformation and fulfillment you want to see in your life. So very quickly now, I'm going to introduce the key ideas that one must look at. These are big ideas. This is a map. This is where your change will come from. This is where your transformation will come from. We have discussed about self-awareness, and we'll touch more on self-awareness because I will narrow down on it as an area. But in the area of self-awareness, there you will find your passion, especially when you take time to really become knowledgeable about yourself, to really have information about yourself as much as possible, as many information as possible about yourself. Then when you do that, then you begin to realize your areas of passion. You begin to realize the areas of direction in life. You begin to answer the questions that we asked in the beginning of this conversation. What direction do you want to take in your life? You begin to find the answers simply because you are taking a lot of time on the area of self-awareness. And then for this discussion, because we don't have time, I'm just going to touch briefly on self-awareness as we move ahead. The area of skills is also very important, but skills by themselves will not help. You have to combine skills with your area of passion, with your area of strength. So you have to identify how to use your skill in the area that you expect to have impact and change and transformation in your life. So acquisition of skills in itself will not help. And you know that we have been on this path many times, because sometimes you want as many skills as possible. Sometimes you want to sharpen your skills. But acquisition of skills will not give you the transformation you require, because the skills must be applied in the direction of your passion, in the direction of your strength, in the direction of your interest. Then they begin to have what you can call big results, big impact, and they begin to bring to your life the fulfillment that you are looking for. The other area is the area of relationships. It's a big, huge area of transformation. And relationship is in two parts. The first part is self-relationship. The second part is relationship with other people. And this is a fundamental area that if we shift the quality of relationships that we have, if we improve the approach and the way we relate with ourselves and with other people, then we begin to move into areas of transformation, into areas of intentional growth, into areas of change. So the area of relationships is really actually very important. We look at the area of character, which is also among the critical areas that we will be looking at, maybe not in this chart, but in future charts. But to work on the area of character seriously is very important, because character brings what you can call internal changes. Character brings what you can call internal strength. It brings internal motivation. It opens your life to other people and to the changes that you want to have in your life. So the area of character is a fundamental area for transformation, for change, for applying in your life so that you can have the outcomes that you require in your life. So in this chart, we'll not have so much time on this. In future charts, maybe we could, but in this particular time, this may not be possible. And then the last area, and is not the least important, actually very important, is area of spirituality. You cannot complete the discussions and the journey of growth without having the spiritual aspect of life. And simply because a human being is a spiritual being. And if you don't feed your spirit, and I'm not talking about religion in this chart, I'm talking about spiritual practices. You can be spiritual and not religious. You can be spiritual and you can be religious. You can be spiritual by simply having small practices that feed into your spirit. Taking a walk in nature, that is a spiritual experience. Meditation and spending time alone, that's a spiritual experience. Service to other people, that is a spiritual experience. And therefore, looking at spirituality is actually very critical in the journey of growth. So in conclusion, as I move forward, because again, time is not on our side, and I have to move a little bit fast, because I have to cut off some of the slides. But these 5 areas are the areas of transformation. They are the areas that you need to work on to really improve your life, to plan on. So let me go now very quickly to some other aspects. I deepened the knowledge here on self-awareness a little bit. And we have already said you need to know yourself to grow yourself. And my mentor, John Maxwell, has put it very well, that the 2 most important days in your life is the day you are born and the day you discover why. So this discovery of your passion, your purpose is really very, very, very important. So as we go there, when you look at yourself, because I want to deepen the knowledge here a little bit on self-awareness, you must answer all these questions and even more about yourself, because these things are about you. These things are about who you are. These things hold the answer to your purpose. These things hold the answer to your passion. So going forward and consistently, you must completely identify your strengths, your interests, your weaknesses, your abilities, your opportunities, your personality. This is critical when you're looking at change and how you can change. So the area of knowing yourself and having a lot of information on this area is actually of very vital importance. I cannot overstate it, but these are some of the areas that if you're trying to discover yourself, you can take a big notebook and start writing your story in terms of what you know about yourself. Because as I've said, the answers will come from here. So I cannot overemphasize that. So I will skip this slide because time is not on our side. We need to move very fast. We need to move very fast because time is not on our side. Now, what we are discussing is, even if you want to find your purpose or your passion, some of the areas to start looking at is whether you like what you are doing currently. That's a very important fundamental question to ask yourself. As you begin to get enough information about yourself, you must confront the question of, do you like what you are doing currently? That's an important question. And it's not a question that you can say, I've been doing this for so long, so now why should I ask about this? Now, I've invested my life in all this, why should I ask that question? The example is given that if you start running and you want to run 10 kilometers, and then you find 5 kilometers down the line, you find there's a big cliff, and you had set out to run 10 kilometers. Will you continue running and you know there's a big cliff in front? So this question is important. It can bring some uncomfortable answers, but that is a journey of growth, and that's a journey of being intentional. And remember, changing direction is a risk. But what if you don't change? Which risk would you rather have? Would you rather not change and stay the way you are, or do that change and find your passion and find your purpose? So these are very important questions. In the interest of time, I want to rush a little bit. I don't want to go so much again into these questions. What would you like to do is something you need to ask yourself. Be realistic, be genuine. This question will be answered very well if you have gone and found your strengths, if you have gone and found your areas of passion, if you know what you're passionate about, then answering what you like to do becomes very easy. So again, the area of self-awareness is really very critical, even to giving some of these answers that we have there. And then always, it's not a question of saying you want to do something that you don't have the ability for. What you want to do, you must have an ability for. You must have a talent for it. So you can't just simply say, you want to do something and you're not talented in that area. Again, the area of self-awareness, because that will give you the answer of what is your passion. It will give you an answer of your ability. It will give the answer of your strength. So answering this question becomes, again, very, very easy. Now, these are the three kinds of people we have. And I think I'm running out of time. These are the three kinds of people we have, and you can put yourself in any one of those groups. There are people who don't know what they would like to do. So sometimes you feel confused because you are not sure which direction you should move in. You want to do this, you're not sure. So that's one kind of person. But there are people also who know what they want to do and they don't do it. These people are very frustrated. These people are very unhappy. These people have very negative energy because they are in captivity and they cannot move forward. And then the other group of people are those people who know what they want to do and then they do it. So those are the different kinds of people that we have. Now, very quickly, how would you discover yourself? This is a question that I'm sure most of us will ask. And the answer is this. Now there are free personality tests out there in the internet. Go there, find out what is your personality. Be curious, do as many tests as possible. Be curious about yourself. Learn as much information as possible about your personality type. What is your personality type? How do you approach things? What is your style? And these things are even available for free on the internet. The other thing is, and this one, be careful. Look for somebody you can trust, or people you can trust. Let them give you feedback about yourself. And be genuine, be honest. Take the feedback that you are given, because that feedback, whatever it says something about you, and it is something that you should know, and it is something that somebody has observed about you. So it's important to take the feedback back. The other thing is self-reflection. Sit down and write. Write as much as possible. How you are brought up is part of you. The schools you went, how you experience school life, the friends you have, how you have experienced your friend, what things you have gone through. Reflect on your life. And when you reflect, you begin to get some new information, additional information about who you are, why you are like that, why you behave like that, why you have that style, and why your personality is the way it is. So self-reflection is also very important. And the other one is self-observation. Just observe yourself on a day-to-day basis. You'll get a lot of information. What makes you angry? What makes you depressed? What makes you cry? What makes you happy? What makes you, feel excited? Just observation will give you also a lot of information about yourself. So this area is actually very important, the area of self-awareness, and I will not go too much into that. Now, I want to touch very, very briefly on how you see yourself in the mirror, because this is an area that will completely stop you from transforming. It will stop you from moving. It will stop you from making any changes in your life. So the area of how you see yourself when you look in the mirror, what do you see of yourself? And the value you put on yourself will determine whether you can change or not change. If you don't have a lot of value, if you don't see yourself in a very positive and valuable way, then change will be difficult. Change will not come. Change will come and stop. So you have to address how much value you see in yourself when you look in the mirror. What do you see of yourself? What do you tell yourself? Because you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. You must see value in yourself to really appreciate your potential. If you don't have value in yourself, then your vision of potential is very limited, it's very small. And that means you cannot change, you cannot transform, you cannot, take a big jump in the area of growth. So you must address this area of how you see yourself and how you value yourself, because it will also determine your behavior. The way you see yourself determines your behavior. So you will never move beyond the image you have of yourself. And the way you see yourself determines also the way you behave, and you behave to other people. You see the world through the lenses of how you view yourself. If you view yourself negatively, you will see the world in a negative manner. If you view yourself in a very, undermining yourself, you will see the world in a very different way. If you don't have value in yourself, you will not have value in other people. So that is why it is very fundamental to look at how you look at yourself. So again, my mentor says, if you place a small value on yourself, rest assured, the world will not raise the price. So just check the value that you have put on yourself. Now, very quickly, what do you need to do to improve your self-image, or the way you see yourself, or the value you put on yourself? Guard your self-talk, very important. The stories running in your mind about how good, you're not good enough, you can't do much. So guard your self-talk, stop comparing yourself to other people, add value to other people. This will help you improve your self-image. And then, of course, move beyond your self-limiting beliefs. What you believe about you, identify what you believe about yourself. If you believe you cannot read books, if you believe you cannot improve, if you believe you cannot have big impact in the world, then you have to change that self-limiting belief, because it is possible to have a big impact in the world just by using your abilities, by using your strengths. And then the other things you can do is do the right thing, even if it's hard, and then practice something small every day, and celebrate your small victories. So we'll not go too much because time is running. And the issue of self-image, of course, and self-esteem is very, very important. Again, because we have run out of time, I will touch just in passing the area of systems that you need to have. So I'll be very rapid here. Just go to the very top and touch on the very areas that you need to have. The first thing is, for you to be consistent, you need to have the big picture. So you need to be clear, what are your key abilities? Don't be busy doing so many things. Don't be busy, trying to do this and the other. Be clear first. What ability do you want to progress? What ability do you want to transform your life? Be clear about that. Be clear also about the choice of area that you want to use for transformation. So be clear about that. Then the other thing is priorities. And this has to do with time. Prioritize as you move on. Prioritize. Do the important things in your best time. Do the things that can change you the most in your best time. So your time is valuable. It's a resource. Use it wisely. And then effective measure. Always measure. How much progress are you making? The journey of growth is a journey of stages. It is a journey of process. It's a journey of doing things on a daily, consistent basis. So effective measurement is also very important. So look back and try to see how you can measure. The other thing about growth, and we are talking about now systems, always apply. Immediately you learn something. If you hear a new idea, ask what you can apply today before you sleep. Then apply it, because application brings understanding. Understanding releases a lot of results when you are dealing with the actions that you are taking. So application is also another big area, and then organization. Be organized in the journey of growth. Take it seriously. We take so many things seriously, but sometimes we don't take our own personal change, our own personal development seriously. But we take so many other things seriously. But be organized when you want to grow, when you want to change, when you transform yourself. Make sure all the things you need are near you. Make sure the books you need are near you, the resources are near you. Make sure the people you need are near you. You have a list of those people and so forth. And if there's training you need to have, identify. Keep these things in a place where you can look for them very easily. And as I'm ending, consistency is critical. You have to be consistent. That is a journey of growth. You have to keep moving. It doesn't matter how difficult and how challenging. And the way to be consistent is you have to have daily actions and you have to make it simple. Embrace simplicity when it comes to the things you want to do. Don't try to do the very difficult things and the very hard things. Try to do the simple, everyday things well, every day, repeatedly. Make them simple so that you can be able to apply them on a daily basis. Because the journey of growth is not a journey of motivation. It's a journey of discipline, being disciplined. And so you need simplicity and you need to do those things. You need to have repetition. So I want to conclude. I thought we could touch consistency. It's not very possible for us to touch consistency, but there are some things you need to do for you to be able to practice consistency. I will not go too much into it. Those are a few slides on how you can really make sure that as you move, as you change, as you transform, that you are being consistent. You have to plan on it. You have to work on it. You have to do something to be consistent. So it's not a question of just waking up and saying, I'm going to be consistent. So that will not work. Now, finally, this is my last slide because I was speaking about a personal plan. And this is how it would look like if you had a personal plan. Those are the 6 things you need for having a personal plan. If you're going to transform and change in a very simple way, be intentional, which means identify what has been holding you back and make an action on that. Be intentional, make a decision, say, I'm going for intentional growth. 2, self-awareness, make it a big thing. Move on self-awareness until you have an idea. What is your direction? What is your purpose? Where are you going? So move on that area. Address your self-limiting beliefs. So practice on the areas of self-talk, make some actions there, and stop comparisons, make some action there. Transformation areas, identify them, understand them, know what they are, and how you can plan on those transformation areas. Don't do everything in those areas. Pick one area or 2 areas according to your ability, according to your strength, according to your interest, according to your passion. Pick one area on those areas that I looked at, the 5 areas. And then prioritize. That should be there. Prioritize on areas of your strength, prioritize on areas of your passion. And then lastly, have a serious approach, have systems that will help you keep on track. Have systems that will help you keep moving, even when it's not going well, that will keep you consistent when it is not going well. So those are the things that you should have on your personal plan. In a different discussions, we'll dive a little deeper into those ideas. Today, I was just introducing ideas and just starting the discussion on this. So I come to an end of my presentation. Time has been very, very fast, and I've gone a little beyond what I had planned. But if you want to contact me and you want also to send some questions after this chat, you can get me by email. And those are my emails, is my email on the chat on the screen. And I also have some Facebook and Twitter. So you can get me on any of those mediums for further questions. So I come to an end of my presentation. And I thank you very much for tuning in and for listening. I was just introducing how we can start the discussion and narrative of growth. So thank you very much, and I stop there.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. It has been an insightful presentation. It's been interesting because, I think transformation adds energy to you. Who would know that somebody can make a presentation at 8:30?
I know.
On a Thursday evening. So I think it has energized you, and that is it's something that needs to rub on the rest of us. So thank you very much. There's been a number of questions that have come up even as you are presenting. I think one question that probably most people are asking is, are these slides going to be available for them later on?
Yes, the slides will be available. It's only that they are so summarized, but they will be available. And you can drop your email so that we can just mail to you the slides. after the discussion. The slides are available for you to keep on referring back.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Also to let you know that we have been live on YouTube. So those people who are locked out, maybe because we reached a maximum number of people, we are privileged to have been live on YouTube, and you can still go back there and reference and listen into the presentation. The recording of the presentation is going to be available on YouTube, on our YouTube page, for you to learn further. So I have some questions here. Question number one.
Yeah.
Why is character minimized mostly with preference to talent? I think maybe that is in regards to when they are going somewhere and they're being selected on something, their character is minimized in preferential to talent.
Okay, maybe just sometimes, of course, character is not measurable. So sometimes people can disregard it, but it's because there is no measure. If somebody meets you, they cannot measure how much character do you have, how much don't you have. So sometimes people go for what is clear, which is talent. People go for what is visible, which is talent. But talent is overrated because talent without character, it will not get you very far. But now the problem is character is not obvious and it's not measurable, and people cannot see, your character. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. There's another question. How far can passion take someone with regards to personal growth and development?
I'm not sure how I can say strongly, more strongly than that. It is what counts. It is what is important. It is what makes you really transform. It's so critical. It's so important. The only thing with passion is this. Sometimes you have to really look for passion. It's not on the face. Sometimes you have to search for it, and you have to do the hard work to get really what you're passionate about. Otherwise, it's not easy. Sometimes if you say you're going to practice passion, because some people tell you can't be passionate, if you try to be energetic and to exhibit passion, and it's not coming from deep within, then it doesn't last. The passion that will last is the one that you comes from deep within, the one that you identify that I am passionate about this area. So passion has to be about something. Passion is not an emotion. Passion is a conviction about something, about an idea. It's not an emotion. Yeah.
I like that. Passion is a conviction.
Yeah, it's really a conviction.
Yes. Someone else is asking, what are the scales of measuring self-intentional growth in life? That's interesting. What is the scale of measuring self-intentional growth?
So the scale is the results of growth. If you want to know whether you are growing, it's really, are you fulfilled? Do you wake up every day excited? Are you do you find that you are naturally passionate, that you don't struggle to be energetic and to be passionate? The more you find you have energy, it is a very good sign that you are growing, that you're on the right path, that you are changing. So if you look at the end result, then you can tell. And then the other one is, how much impact are you having on other people? Because the journey of growth is not about you, it's not about your family, it's not about your friends. The journey of growth, how can you impact other people? How much impact are you having? Are you really trying to have a positive impact on other people? So that will answer your question. How far am I going? Then you can see I'm actually changing. I'm really transforming.
Wow. Okay. Another one, how can one handle self-doubt and feeling of not being enough?
The first handling is acceptance and understanding that it affects all of us. So this is not something that is unique to you. I want you to know that it's not unique to you. Self-doubt is not unique. It affects all of us, because every time all of us, and myself, have been in that spot, you try to move ahead, you always have that talk in your mind that, you can't do it, you really can't succeed, and you're going to fail. And self-doubt is going to be there, and it's not going to end. So there's not going to be a day when there is self-doubt, because some of it is just natural fear that you have. And in this chart, we have said the way to deal with fear and to deal with self-doubt also is to start talking to yourself in a positive way. You have to reverse those words you are telling yourself, that you're not enough, that you can't make it, that is not possible, that you cannot, you have to reverse the words. So that is the idea about self-doubt. Just self-talk and stop comparing yourself with other people.
So this is the one that is in relation to self-esteem, right?
Yes, it's in relation to self-esteem, because self-esteem is a question of doubting yourself. Is it not, don't have enough confidence in yourself. And really, that's a very serious area. You have to look at it, and you have to be genuine and honest with yourself about it.
Okay. I think this other question is also related to that, because they've thanked you for the presentation. They're going to read more about the area of growth and change, but they say they struggle with comparison. I think in this case, they really want to compare themselves with maybe their peers or other people who are maybe in the same category, and maybe they seem like they're doing better. So how do they do that? How do they transform and change without having an interference of comparison?
As we said when we were beginning, the area that you need to really look at is your potential. If you keep your eyes there on just finding details of how much potential you have, you'll find naturally you stop comparing yourself with other people, because first of all, there's so much information there already. There's so much there to keep you busy already. So if, as we said, you start having a lot of information and details about your potential, about how much you can achieve, about how far you can go, about the vision for your life. If you focus on the area of potential, it will surprise you, because you will stop comparing yourself with other people, because you realize you have so much potential. Because when you compare yourself, the first thing you feel is like you don't have enough potential. That is how you feel when you compare yourself with other people. Yeah.
Okay, this, I think it's now the practicability or application question. Are there any bare minimum or daily actions that can ensure that one sustains any transformational journey they embark on? One or two examples.
Okay, we go to the basics. The first thing is self-awareness. So for you to know yourself on a daily basis, there are several things you can do. And remember, and we'll have to talk about this, it has to do, you have to, when you do your actions, it has to be according to your personality. You cannot do actions according to somebody else's personality. So for example, there is something called journaling. There are some people who are good at writing down information about themselves, information about what happened during the day, information about what they are thinking, information about their experiences. So there are people who have that kind of personality, that they have the personality that they don't mind writing about themselves and how their day is going and all that. So that's a daily action you can do if that is within your personality. Because remember, the journey of growth has to take into account your personality. You cannot do what somebody else is doing. Now, there are some other people, because of your personality, there is something called reflection. Finding time every day to reflect on your life, on who you are, what is happening, where you are, what you want to do, what are your strengths, what is going on. So reflection is something you can do every day, and you can slot in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever time you have, even 5 minutes, that's the time you have. So that's something, a daily action you can practice every day.
Okay. I think, and there are many others.
Before I close, I want to talk about wellness and well-being.
Yes.
You can do something every day to improve your wellness, either by what you eat, either by what you drink, either by the way you exercise, either by what you talk, either by the way what you read. You can do something small, practical every day. Yeah.
Wow. Now there's this question, I think he has asked for all of us.
Yeah.
What are some of the practical steps to quit bad habits, hindering the action to start the growth of the growth journey? We want to lose weight, we want to look fit, but we just cannot move from our chairs.
Yeah.
So what are some of the practical steps that we can apply to quit bad habits?
So it's a good question, and it's not an easy question. And again, because we want to be realistic, I think the first thing is to start appreciating yourself and to start appreciating how much you can do in your life. So before you even start the exercise, before you start even what you want to do, have a time when you can look at just how important is your life, how well you need to live, how much you need to achieve before even you start exercise. Because what is very important is what is the motive for you exercising? If you get, you know what I've discovered, if you get the right motives, then you will not have a problem. If you exercise because you want to look beautiful, because you want people to admire you, because you want to have a nice figure, you're going to find it an uphill task.
Correct.
If you have a motive that you want to have a good life, you want to achieve a lot of things in your life, you want to have energy, you want to motivate other people, you want to inspire other people, that's why you're exercising. If that is what is driving you to exercise, then I tell you, you will stay there. So check your motives for wanting to do something, even for wanting to change. If you want to change so that you can be telling people, I'm changing, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, then you will not stay on the journey. It will take you a very long time.
Okay. Wow, those have been very interesting questions. I know you have learned much more. She's given her email address and her social media contacts for those ones who would want to reach out to her. And I think last one, just before I recap the day's the presentation.
Yes.
Every year we make New Year resolutions.
Yeah.
And I think for most, if not all of us, our New Year resolutions for this year have all been cancelled. Now, by now, where is the place of New Year resolutions in the journey of growth?
So as we are winding up, because I'm sure some people want to end this,
Yes.
Remember, it is not a destination. It's not, we spoke about goals.
Yes.
So New Year resolution are okay, but they will not transform you because you are making resolutions for the year. You need to make resolutions for your life, for the results that you want to see, for the fulfillment, for the passion that you want to have in your life. During the new year, you can have some small steps that will help you go towards that. You can set some small goals during the new year. But the big idea is the resolutions about having a life that is different, that has different results. You must say, you are tired of the same results every day. You want different for this life going on. So there's no destination in growth. Then that's what we started. You have to go far.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. One very last question. Somebody is saying, explain intentional growth versus self-actualization. I think they meant intentional growth versus accidental growth.
So in the slides, I have covered this, and I will forward through the email on the main differences, because there are many differences.
Yes.
But the key one is that accidental growth happens through mistakes. Accidental growth is relying on good luck. Accidental growth is relying on your talent. Intentional growth is about the journey. There's no destination. Intentional growth is about hard work. Intentional growth is about maturity. Intentional growth is about the process. It is not about the end result. It's not what people say, the end justifies the means. That is not about intentional growth. Intentional growth is about the process. It's about living your life every day, the way you want it to live it. Yeah. So
thank you so much.
Thank you, Caroline, and thank you for hosting. I think we may have to just, very quickly end the
session. Yes, because of the time. But we are looking forward to more of this. We hope to host you again so that you can explain some of the things that were not explained today. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to us. To our colleagues, I can see some of our people have joined from diaspora, some people from Uganda. Thank you for
Yes.
tuning in, and you're most welcome even to our next sessions. So good night, everyone. Thank you
Good night.
to our guests and to our
Yes.
colleagues. Good night, and enjoy the rest of your week and coming weekend.
Good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Good night.